Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Welcome to New Life Live. And joining me today, Milan Yerkovich and Becky Brown. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hey.
I've already broken my New Year's resolution. It's day 2.
What did you do?
Well, I was going to lose 20 pounds in 2020, but I mean, I've already had cookies.
Oh,
so
that's such a great thing. 20 in 2020. You know, we always
that was good, Becky.
I thought so.
I like
but,
the slogan.
You know.
I do too. And we always diss the whole New Year's resolution thing, but actually it works for me. I put together a little program and I follow it for however long I can in the new year. But I hadn't thought about that lose 20 in 2020 because that would benefit my health greatly.
Well, or walk 20 minutes a day in 2020, or
there you go.
I don't know. Exercise for 20 minutes a day. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can use, but obviously I've already broken mine, so I'll have to start again. That's the great thing. It's a new day.
Yeah, when I was growing up in Texas, we used to go shoot squirrels with the 2020. So I'll have to
I'm sure some people will do that today, too.
Through. Well, I tell you what, let's do. I want to get right to the phones because this is a great day. January the 2nd. Really glad that you're with us here today. And we're going to go right now to Donna from British Columbia, and she listens on Sirius XM satellite radio. That's how we are able to be up there in Canada with all those great folks there. Hey, Donna, how are you?
I am well, thank you, and how are you?
Excellent. How can we help today?
Well, I just recently became born again. I found God in September.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
I've been trying to get back to my marriage. I feel we separated in December of last year, or year before now already, and I feel when I found God, I felt like that was where I needed to go back to my marriage. My husband and I have been talking, and we're going to meet in a couple of days.
Okay.
And the marriage failed because he is angry all the time. All the if I say it's black, he says it's white. If I say it's white, he says it's black. We argue about money or the lack thereof money. And I need to figure out how to talk to him to keep my marriage, to get it back together, because I know that if I work...
I'm sorry, you cut out there. You know if you were what?
If I work on the marriage, like if I work on myself and learn not to argue back with him, like if he says it's black, say, yeah, okay, it's black, even though it's not. You know what I mean? Like I'm as bad as him for arguing, and I want to stop that. I want to be a wife to him and not a constant abrasion. I mean, there's lots that he needs to, but I can't fix him. I need to fix me in order to be a better person.
Yeah, a lot of things I'm thinking about here, and I'm sure Becky and Milan are also, because, you know, there's a way to communicate truth without being combative or kind of escalating into the big argument. We'll talk about that. We don't want you to lose yourself. And a lot of times, you know, when people make a big life change, they think, I want to get this marriage back together. But if the other person isn't willing to do some things also, you might just be getting it back together to watch it rip apart once again. So we'll talk about all of that after this. If you need some help, 1-800-NEW-LIFE is the number to call, and we've got some great workshops coming up. Every Man's Battles, the 10th. We've got the Marriage Intensive on February the 14th. Finding Freedom, Restore, it's all coming up.
I feel blessed to have had this opportunity for my needs to be met, connecting with other women who are fighting the same fight, hoping for healthy marriages and growing closer to the Lord on their journey.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
I feel encouraged and hopeful that even in my struggle, I am enough.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
Through the sharing in our small group, I realize that I am not alone.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Southern California February 28th to March the 1st. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here, founder of New Life. Milan Yerkovich with us. Of course, he and his wife Kay wrote the book How We Love. And after one of the worst times of my life, my assistant said, you should go see this man, Milan Yerkovich. I did, and he helped me take my life back, and I wanted to share him with the world. And then we've got Becky Brown here. Becky, many of you know, many of you may not know, but all of the things that we do with our therapists around the country, Becky is in charge of all of that. She makes sure that the groups are quality, run by qualified. She does all the vetting of all of our therapists for our intensives. You're just irreplaceable, Becky.
Thank
so
you,
are
thank
you healthy?
you. Yeah, I'm very healthy
Okay,
because I've hung around you guys for a long time. I mean, being part of New Life has changed my life.
You are New Life, and her and her husband Bruce are a big part of all that we do, and they're going to be going to on this river cruise we're doing, the Rhine. Milan and Kay are going.
Yes.
It's going to be fantastic. If you've never been on a trip, this would be the one, the New Life trip. This would be the one to go on because it's going to be quite an experience. So call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com and we can tell you all about it. Well, Donna's calling us from the British Columbia area, and she's found Christ, would like restoration for her marriage, and I'm wondering, well, let's start with you, Becky. What are you thinking might be a helpful first step for restoration?
Well, I was thinking, I was wondering if, Donna, you were thinking about doing this on your own. Like you're just going to call them up and say, hey, let's get together. Or maybe you have somebody that can help you with the process. Because I think you identified clearly that you react to him as well. So it's not just that he's angry, but then you react to his anger, and then there's just this stalemate. And I wonder, have you guys been in any conversation in the last year? Or has it just been you're separated and there's no conversation at all?
Oh, no, we've been talking on and off. I reached out to him shortly after I found God and told him how I felt and what was going on, that I had found God, and I felt that our marriage is something that deserves a second chance.
What was his response to
and
that?
He said, with everything that we've gone through, he has to think about it. He has to go through it. And then the last time I talked to him about it, he said, we need to sit down and we need to have a conversation then.
Mm-hmm. So here, Donna, here's one thing. Donna, here's what I'm thinking. It might be really helpful for you as you go into that conversation to identify where you have been reactive towards him. Where, in the 12 steps, we talk about making amends and making things right where we can. And I think, he's probably a little bit apprehensive, wondering, what am I going to get myself into? Are we going to do the same old thing? And maybe if you just start with, I realize that I have not always reacted respectfully, or whatever the dances that you guys have been doing. The phrase is humble down. to start from that place, just to discover where you guys can go from there. But, Milan is like the expert in this. So, Milan, what do you have to say?
What are you thinking there, Milan? Could be helpful.
I love what you just said, Becky and Steve. Just such good stuff. I would tell your husband that the old version of us should never get back together again. The old us have no business being together. See? Because except in Hollywood, where unresolved, unrepaired relationships suddenly magically turn into incredible romance stories and they live happily ever after, real life says if we don't know how to repair, we're not just going to get it somehow. It's not going to wear off on us and we're going to absorb it somehow. Let's learn to be two new different people. I love that you came to Christ. I love that you're born again. I would take him to where you went, and I'd say, let's start going to church. Let's get God's influence into our lives, and then let's get people together, somebody that can help us, and learn how to say no to our past, our training, our families that imprinted us to behave a certain way. Let's go to somebody who can help us learn to escape the gravitational field of each of our respective families. The bad parts. There's good parts we want to hold on to, but the bad parts, the angry parts, we want to learn to put away.
Yeah, a place to start might be, Donna, where you're saying, as has been suggested, I've been overly reactive, or I've been argumentative. And then you talk about if you're willing to do some things, here's what I'm willing to do. And you lay out some things you're willing to do, such as I'm willing to get some help on my own. I'm willing to join a support group. I'm willing to get involved in a Bible study that builds character, things like that. And then you would ask him anything you might be willing to do if we were to get back together. Now, if he says, I'm not willing to do anything because the whole thing was your fault or your problem, then I think you've got some direction there that maybe this isn't the time, or maybe it's never the time. Does that make sense?
What about, Donna, I wonder if he would be willing to join you at the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop that we're going to have in February.
I mean, that would be a huge, huge way for you guys to get really great intensive.
Absolutely.
You'd leave there knowing how to make it work.
Right.
Now, whether or not he'd be willing to, that'd be something different. But we have people in really, really bad shape come, and they leave with a whole different perspective on the future. So that would be something to consider.
Where's the workshop at?
It's going to be in California. It's going to be in Orange County, California.
One of you go for a trip with me.
Yeah,
he might. We have some people that.
That might be the thing that he might be thinking. Well, you know.
And you can use warmth as the draw here. You can say it's a little warmer down there than it is up here, and usually in February, although it can get chilly down here. But I think it's a great idea, Steve and Becky, for them to come to a workshop. To reboot is really important thing to do, and this would give you a great chance to kind of reboot and be another emphasis that would help you.
I always think about the couples that come to our Intimacy and Marriage that are at like a stalemate. Some are separated. We've had those that have had restraining orders, actually. And they find some tools. They figure out how to use those tools, because it's one thing to find a tool, but if you don't know how to use it, it's not going to do you much good. And we have seen amazing results. And so that would be a great way for them to get a restart to their marriage.
So I'm going to send you How We Love and the workbook there, and that is really one of the most...
I would send her a Bible, too. She's a new believer.
Wow,
send you a
Becky.
New
Look at
Bible.
you.
Good idea. The Restoration Bible, and there's a little path there based on the acronym RESTORE, so we'll get that off to you. And anybody else, you can get one of these Bibles with, if you a gift of $100, I'll calligraphy your name myself.
And it's
I'll sign
leather-bound.
it, and I'll get that to you. at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. But I want to tell you, the material in How We Love, it really is material on how we got here. I mean, that's another name you get. How we got here, and then how are we going to go forward together and make this something that we never dreamed we could have. And this is the kind of material we use at our intensive, and it has just created such transformation in so many marriages. And if you want to do something that has helped so many people, you come and join us. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We always do this on the weekend of Valentine's Day. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We really do believe this could be the greatest year ever for you, beginning a new decade, if you'd just be willing to do some work that maybe you know you need to do, but you've never, ever done it. You could do it now. Let's go to Carol, Orlando, Florida. WTLN is the station. Carol, how are you? Carol, are you there? We're going to come back to Carol. And how about this? Let's go to, let's talk to Sadak of Los Angeles, California, KKLA. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
What's going on? Doing all right. You're going to need to turn your radio off there, if you don't mind, or whatever you're listening to. Okay, how can we help today?
Yes, my question is, I have an older brother who is, the oldest of my family, and he's been struggling a lot with, he calls the paramedics almost on a daily basis because he has issues relating to, his potassium, and then he has panic attacks, all of that stuff. And I'm in a situation where I have another older brother and another older sister that are telling me, hey, well, you know what, you should kick your brother out because, I mean, he does live with me. I do own the house. It's my house, and I let him live in a trailer, which I own in the back of my yard. So I have these older brothers telling me, well, you know what, you should put him out on the street. And it's just putting me a lot of stress on me because, I mean, I am the youngest of all my brothers, and I just don't know what to do. I just need. I know the.
Well, what kind of help is he getting?
What I can.
What kind of help is he getting? What kind of help is he getting?
I mean, he is a born again Christian. He is going to church, but.
What kind of help is he getting?
Well, I mean, just the prescription they give to him at the clinic, at the in the hospital. That's pretty much all that he's getting right now. And I'm just in a situation where I'm trying to help him out. I try to tell him to relax.
Okay, so Sadak, here's the thing. It's great that you're trying to help him, but hope is not a strategy. So you got to have some specific steps for him to take besides just calling the squad every day, because that's how he's managing this right now. And it sounds like he's pretty dependent on you. He's not working, right?
He's not working. He's not.
Because of the illness, or he has a lawsuit against the last company he worked for because he didn't get his breaks on time, and so he kind of uses that as an excuse to not work.
Okay.
Because, he has a pending lawsuit. And
okay, so
he's not working. He's not working.
So here's the thing. What I'm talking about with the strategy is that you're supporting him, but there's no direction. So I would, I'm not saying that you kick him out, but he needs to go to a therapist, whether it's at that clinic that he's getting the medicine or some other plan. But there's got to be some sort of a structure. Now he's not going to like that. It kind of reminds me of those callers that we have with failure to launch at home. It sounds like that's kind of what's happening to you. But, it's stressing you out because you're having to manage him. And he's probably old enough to be managing his own life, but it's a trap without some sort of a exit plan. And Milan, you get something to add?
Sadak, was your
Yes.
brother ever traumatized, hurt, harmed? What happened to him?
Yes, my father passed away in 2014, and after that, he just couldn't get his life back on track. I mean, as far as him working and managing.
Okay,
his own personal life.
how dependent was your brother upon his dad?
Oh, I mean, he never had any kids, and he divorced his wife. His marriage fell apart. So he was very, very close to my father.
Okay, so
And
he was
that's been
dependent. He was dependent upon your dad. Then, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. We'll be right back after this break. But that's
Yeah.
a really important piece of this puzzle.
It is, and if you were to pass away, then you have to wonder what would happen to him. So we want to help him. We'll be back after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Hi, we're back.
We are back. Okay, so we've been talking about this situation, and I really do think, as we were saying at the break, this could be actually a perfect situation where he's living in the trailer, but he's got to get the additional help, and this is a failure to launch. Mm-hmm. It's just a failure to launch at age 43. And so here's what I'm going to suggest. I want you to hold on, because what needs to happen is I think you need to get a counselor. And let me tell you why. You need help dealing with your siblings and this brother of yours. And you need somebody on a day-to-day basis. We have so many great counselors in that area that we can connect you with, so that maybe you're going to somebody 3 or 4 times, and at the end of that, you've got a plan that benefits you, the brothers, and this particular brother here. So,
yeah, I was talking about the fact that we can get into learned helplessness, that we can have a series of events that occur that we feel like life is happening to us and that we have no choices and that we just can't do anything different than what we're doing. But the important thing is that we don't want you to enable him to stay in that pit.
Yeah. And, in Take Your Life Back, and I'm going to send it to you, we talk about every person needs, there are these D words here. You need to be the defender of your value. Well, you think he's defending his value? Well, he's in a lawsuit because of breaks or whatever. But you need to be the developer of good things for your life, not waiting for your this brother to do the good things or something to happen. You have to be that. You have to be the decider and not just a victim, rolling over, waiting for things to happen. Then, when you're those things, you can surrender to our Lord and let Him be the director of your life. That's the goal. I'll send you Take Your Life Back.
I have one more thing.
Yes, sir.
LA County would have what is called a crisis assessment team, and where you can have them come out to your house.
Okay.
They are on standby. We have it in Orange County as well. And they will assess someone. Your brother is suffering from paranoia and delusions, and he really needs help. He might possibly require and need hospitalization. And so a crisis assessment team is different than the police showing up at your door.
Right.
Because they'll come in and they'll talk to your brother. They'll hear his paranoia. They'll hear his delusional thoughts. And they can actually help you manage transporting and getting him to a place of help. And I think that's very important.
It is. And the next time the paramedics come, I would be asking them, why aren't you guys suggesting that the psych team come out, assess him rather than you coming back? And how about we do that right now?
Well, and I think so many times the reason why that is because we just do the next thing over and over and again.
Yep.
And we're in a cycle that we need to get out of. So even the people who are helping.
All right, let's go to Tony, Newark, New Jersey. Hey, Tony, how are you today? Listens on Sirius XM at 1 p.m., channel 131 there on Sirius XM. Tony, how are you?
Hello. How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
Doing okay. What's going on?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm calling because I've been struggling the last 3 years with pornography, and I am married to my wife. And we are Christians for the last 5 years, and throughout our whole relationship, I have a great wife, and everything is great with my business. Everything is great. It's just that sometimes I lean towards pornography, and I've been praying on my knees to the Lord to deliver me from this, but I see myself always going back to it, and I feel so horrible after, I go back and then I'm praying to God again. And, I just don't want to be a failure towards the Lord.
So what's the question for us?
Why is it that I'm praying to the Lord so much and it's just not stopping?
Mm-hmm. Because you're not willing to surrender to God.
Okay, so when you say surrender, what do you mean by surrendering?
Well, surrender isn't, okay, God, take this away from me. Wouldn't that be convenient? Surrender is, oh Lord, I'm willing to do what more people have done to take care of this than any other thing. In other words, if you had a tumor on your face, you could be praying that God would remove and heal the tumor, or you could go to a place that specializes in face tumors, right?
Yeah.
So one, you're just going to ask God to fix it. The other, you're going to humble yourself and be willing to do what could really produce a change. So have you ever heard our program before today?
No.
Okay. So I wrote a book with Fred Stoker called Every Man's Battle. And we do a workshop. It starts on Friday and it ends on Sunday. And if you will come to that workshop, you're not going to struggle. And it's in Washington, D.C. on the 10th. Now, if it's pretty close to you. So, and if you don't have the money for it, maybe we can even find that. So that's doing something versus presuming upon God and then being frustrated when He doesn't do something. James 5:16, confess your sins to one another and pray for each other. We've got to be open about this. We've got to come out of hiding, and then we have chance for freedom. And it seems like you want to honor your wife and honor your marriage and your God. That's what you need to do.
My wife had found me out through my past and my sexual addiction since I was a small child. It really gave me the opportunity to start digging into my past, start digging into my childhood, figure out what was causing me to feel the way I was feeling. Every Man's Battle will really give you that opportunity because all the guys there in that room are there for the exact same reason you're there. I don't want to be the reason that my kids are going to counseling. I don't want to be the reason that they begin to struggle with the same issues that I'm struggling with, and I've got to put an end to this. Yes, you can be different. God does love you. You can be forgiven for this, and there's a way out of this. But you have to acknowledge that you have to change, and that there's a problem.
If you're struggling, call us. There are people on the other end of the line who want to hear from you, who want to help you. We don't want you to hand down something to another generation that just looks like pain and destruction. You can hand down redemption, but you got to take that first step. Just give us a call. It's 1-800-639-5433. It's 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay in the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you a set of 4 devotionals, 100 Days of Character, Peace, Prayer, and the newly released 100 Days of Healing. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops.
I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's been immensely helpful to me. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're Steve Arterburn here. We were talking with Tony about the difference between asking God to take something away and us being willing to do whatever it takes.
Yeah. Well, what I love about Tony's newfound life in Christ, he's been a Christian 5 years. What I love about that is he's depending upon the Lord. He's asking the Lord for help. But there's this principle that we talk about here on the show. It's called Prayer Plus. Prayer Plus. Because God tells us to pray about everything, bathe everything in prayer. But then he also says that the person who hears the word of God and acts upon it and does what the scriptures say, to your point, Steve, of confessing our sins one to another and being in community and getting community support and being taught about the journey and the path out, is what God wants us to also do, that we'll be like a person who built their house upon solid rock. And that is just so important. And then, Becky, you see this from, as the head of all our counseling ministries, you see this through the counselors and the people you talk to and the women that are destroyed by their husband's pornography.
Yeah, you know what we see at our workshops or even in the calls that we get is that the wife takes on the shame of what the husband has been doing. And Steve has said so many times his best day when he confesses and realizes that there's hope for him, it is her worst day. And she lives in that shame and takes it on. But what I love is the fact that Tony is asking for how to change this, and that this was his first time listening to the program.
That's so cool.
Can I just do a plug for those who are givers to New Life Ministries? This is why you're giving. For somebody like Tony who has never heard what we're talking about, he has an opportunity for a new life.
Yep. And, you know, I really believe that a lot of people are taught if we have enough faith, we ask God with faith that something great can happen, like a miracle, and it goes away. But think about this. We've said it before, Tony. Even if God took this desire away, would he have instantly put character into your life? And you go to the book of James, and it says when we when we have these trials, we can actually be grateful in them because they produce character that we don't have. And so that's why it's good news whenever we face the bad news and have a willingness to do whatever it takes. So I'm going to send you a copy of Every Man's Battle. I hope you'll come join us for our next intensive. Jason Martinkus does such a great job of leading that group, and these wonderful committed counselors, male counselors, are there, and all of them share their own struggles and the victories that they've had. And then, of course, Shelley, Jason's wife, does our Restore ministry, and so many women who just didn't know how they were going to breathe again when they found out about everything, they find hope and help and healing there. You just call us at 1-800.
So what are we going to send Tony? Did we decide?
Every Man's Battle.
Good.
And I'll tell you what else I'll do. I'll send him Every Man's Bible.
Great idea.
Award-winning Bible, best-selling men's study Bible right now. I'll send that to you, and I'm really glad
and we
that
have
you called.
Every Man's Battle is every month scattered around the United States.
Yeah.
And so
it's the only workshop we do every month.
Absolutely. Powerful.
All right, let's go back to the calls, and how about we talk to Mike from Detroit, Michigan, also one of these great Sirius XM satellite radio listeners. Hi there. Mike, how are you today?
I'm doing okay. Thank you guys very much for this show.
Sure.
So I have
happening?
a 17-year-old son that his mom and I are divorced, have been divorced for about 10 years. We've had joint custody. And just before school started in August, he had an explosion at me, very angry. And I really haven't seen him since, haven't had any relationship with him since. Nothing.
Why haven't you? Why haven't you done that?
Well, I've tried to reach out to him. I've called him, sent him birthday cards, and texted him. No response. And when he does respond, it's leave me alone. I told you I don't want to talk to you anymore. He's seeing a therapist. He's a really good kid, a great kid, an A student kid. But I think I know he was affected by our divorce, and he was never in therapy or got any counseling for that. Everything was, fine. And I think the pressure over the summer, over the last year, got too much from him. But the therapist that he's seeing has told me, just give him time. And he's seen this therapist, I think, 3 or 4 times since August.
Okay.
And when
What's your wife say about all of this? What does she say?
She says when I ask her how he's doing, he's fine. I said, well, my response to her is, well, he's not fine, because if he was fine, he and I would have a relationship.
Right. So, Mike, did you guys go from 0 to 100 with this explosion? Like, what was your relationship like before he exploded?
I thought it was fine.
What would he say?
So, I didn't.
Like, when he was exploding at you, I'm sure he was saying, you never, you always, all those kind of things. What did you learn?
I was blindsided, but he said, I don't have any friends. You've been not controlling, but I don't know, holding him back from doing things, and not intentionally, just as a caring dad, not wanting him to make mistakes. And obviously we learn from our mistakes, but I thought we had a great relationship.
Were you controlling?
I didn't think so. I don't think so. I was being a caring dad.
Well, but here's the thing.
But
he's 17. So, Mike, listen. So he's 17, and if he has thought this for a long time, that's where that big explosion comes from. And if your thinking is completely different from his, it's really going to be important for you to be able to hear what he has to say, because he is like 1 year from being launched. And I don't know what your custody arrangements were, But if he's saying that you're controlling, it's really going to be important for you to find out what he means by that, because you only have a short few years where you can really kind of redeem that relationship. And the last thing I would suggest is to stay away from him. I mean, I don't understand that, to let Thanksgiving and Christmas go by without a physical contact. I think that would be really difficult. But I'm not a dad. I'm a mom. But, that would just be really hard. But Milan, Steve, you both are dads, and you have raised some men.
And it's not, and I don't want to not see him. I want to see him, but I'm trying to be respectful of what the therapist told me and what he's asked.
Okay, here's an angle that you could take with him, because see, you saying I did all the right things for all the right reasons and you need to accept that. That's not going to bring about reconciliation, right?
Correct. And I'm not saying I did all the right things. I felt that I did, but clearly I'm wrong.
Okay, so why don't you take this angle?
Okay.
Son, I realize that in my trying to be the dad I thought I needed to be, I wasn't sensitive enough to who you are as the young man that you are. What about that? Could you admit that you weren't sensitive enough?
Yeah, I would admit that 100%. And I would
so
admit
then
that
you
to him.
say, now see, okay, so now we have a bridge to his heart. I am so sorry that I came across the way I did, because I wasn't really thinking of where you were at the time, what you were going through. I was just thinking about what I needed to do to be a good dad, and I hope you'll forgive me. And I would write that to him. I'd text it. I'd email it. Any way you could get that message that I realize I wasn't sensitive enough to you. Now, you're not apologizing for what you did, but you're giving him a bridge. Milan, got a thought about that bridge at all?
Well, I never allow a minor child, adolescent, to dictate the rules of my behavior. That is, to have not talked to your son since August is very alarming. Also, for you to say,
and it's destroying me.
I know, buddy. Mike, I breaks my heart to think about this. But my persistent mantra to him would be, I'm going to respect you, but I'm not going to leave you alone. I want to push in. And here's what I want, son. I want to learn more about how I've made you angry. I want to study this. I want to be a learner, and you're going to have to slow down and spell it out for me. I want to get better at this thing, and I need your help. Would you help me?
We'll be back.
She said, we need to talk. She's asked me for the first time if I would consider myself a sex addict. I thought it was just about admitting the things that I had done wrong. I never had a clue that it was about redeeming our story. I thought it was just about coming clean on what I had done. I had no idea how to help her with her pain. She was a mess, I was a mess, and we got divorced. Going to EMB, surrounding myself with these other men, they accepted me for who I was and what I had done, but they challenged me to step up and do better. They'll be around other men who are not just pointing the finger, but willing to get in and wade through it with them, get in the trenches. They'll get hope from this workshop. Take my sweet wife and my story. We were divorced, remarried, and on our way to what I think will be the sweetest years of our lives. It's no longer simply about surviving. For the first time ever, we're thriving, we're enjoying where we're at.
Hey, listen, if you're struggling, we want to see you at the workshop. Give us a call, 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of the problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800. New Life.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. Really can't encourage everybody enough to do whatever you can to build that bridge back to the younger person. You have to be the adult in the room. I love what you said, Milan, about not letting the child dictate the parameters of relationship, and to show up, to be there, to ask for time, and then not in that pursuit. And one of the comments we made at the break was kind of amazing, that the mother would say he's fine. Well, in her mind, he's divorced the father the way she did, and maybe that's fine to her, but that's not fine.
Right.
So let me send you a copy of Every Man, God's Man. I hope that's going to be helpful to you as a guide of building character and directing him to do the same.
Did I ever tell you about my sit-ins in my teenagers' rooms?
I want to hear that.
Well, back in the 60s, they used to have sit-ins, where they'd carry signs and go have a sit-in.
As a protest.
As a protest. So if my kids were giving me the silent treatment or the stiff arm, I would go have a sit-in in their room, and they'd say, "Dad, get out of my room." I go, "Well, technically not your room. It's my room. I'm just loaning it to you." Anyhow, I'd say, "Look, I just need 3 feeling words, and I'll leave. 3 feeling words, and I will leave." And they'd say, "That's stupid." And I'd say, "That's all right. I have a book here, and I'm just going to read. Here's a feelings word list. I need those before I go. And it's up to you. You have all the power here. 3 words, I'm out." And I had a psychologist who was in my office at the time working in my office shared. She goes, "Milan, that's so invasive." And I said, "Well, no, it isn't. It's called being a parent, and where I'm going to insist that something right happen here." She didn't have kids, by the way. And so the bottom line here is I'm going to lovingly intrude into my children's lives.
Well, your sit-in, my style, was a drive-off. And because I had them in the car, and so they were there, and then we weren't looking at each other, which is kind of my style as an avoidant at the time, but I could ask questions, and when you're smiling, Milan, there at that. It just was a way to try to connect again.
No, I'm just trying to smile at the camera because the sign says here, talk and smile at the camera. See, so that's.
We are,
but you are funny,
on Facebook Live. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Okay, here we go. Last call, and that's Patricia from Orlando, Florida. New listener. How you doing?
Hello. Good afternoon. How are you?
Excellent. What's going on?
Well, I just learned about your radio show. I was calling because I needed to give my daughter some advice.
Okay.
I just want her husband has been evidently cheating on her, and he's just told her he wanted a divorce, and he moved out and is moved in with the girlfriend. Prior to that, he evidently was seeing someone else whom he met at the gym, and that woman is the one who told my daughter that he's having an affair with another woman. And then he told her he's in love with this woman.
Okay.
But he loves my daughter, but he's in love with this woman.
Right.
And they have a young child. So he's moved out. He's filing for a divorce. So
what's the question for us, Patricia? What's the question for us?
What advice can I give to her? She was wanting to know if how can she get? She wants to know how to file for child support. If it's something that you do, I do not know. But she just needs advice. How should she handle the situation?
And where is her father in all of this?
Her father, we're together. We're listening to her. We don't know how to advise her about this.
Okay. Well, I tell you, I love it that I can give you absolutely the best advice possible. Rarely do I ever know when I've got the best advice possible. You ready for this, Patricia?
holding on to my pen to write it down.
Okay. You and your husband want to help her find the best attorney possible. Now I'll tell you why. She has a child.
Yes.
So the better the attorney, the more likely for a secure future for your grandchild.
Yes.
This isn't you giving her what you think or feel, or your husband. This is finding the best attorney that you can afford to help her come out of this in the best way possible for this child. I would not want my grandchild to be in a home with a serial adulterer. I wouldn't want that. He's impulsive.
No.
He's repulsive.
Yes.
And I wouldn't have the child. So she needs to not be asking you, how do you file for child support? She needs an attorney that knows how to not just file, how to get the most child support possible, how to enforce it, and how to get every bit of security from the marriage possible. That's what I think you need to do.
And I would suggest one next step would be for her to attend our Restore workshop. We have a workshop for women who have experienced betrayal, and she's going to need support. This is a really difficult thing, and on so many levels, not just the divorce part of it, but to be betrayed twice and then to have the husband just be so gallivant, he just doesn't even care.
He's cavalier.
Cavalier, all the words that I can't think of right now.
Right.
But I would encourage you, we'll connect you with that information, and you can share that with her.
Yeah, and I'll send you Healing is a Choice. That's an amazing book for her to get better with.
Yes.
But the other thing is, she needs all of the support of a church. She needs to be involved in a women's Bible study. Restore would be great. Help her. But this is an opportunity where he is so blatantly unfaithful. This is the time, not in a year, but now, to secure the child support, to get that judge to intervene right now and get her the support that she deserves. All right? Healing is a Choice coming her way. Well, it's pretty tough when a child is launched and then they go right into a relationship like this. I have a person I'm related to, one of the greatest people on this planet, ended up with someone that was absolutely so deceptive. After dating for a couple of years, didn't know this other side. And then once it comes out, everybody is devastated. But don't be so devastated that you're paralyzed. Help them get the help that they need.
And that's one of the things I was going to say, Steve, that she really needs to go back to the drawing board emotionally, as to how did I end up picking a person that conned me. And I've lived with a con, but I didn't know. Somebody had to tell me what was happening, and I didn't have the eyes to figure it out or see it. And all of us need to learn how to pick healthfully someone we're going to spend our life with.
Yeah, very, very good. Well, we want to help you, and we can help you. We can help you find a counselor. We have these amazing intensives coming up, and some of you struggle like this man does. And you're unfaithful in a lot of different ways. Every Man's Battle on January the 10th could take care of that. Intimacy in Marriage Saves Marriages, February the 14th. Restore is the 28th of February, and then Finding Freedom, July the 24th. Also, we have an amazing cruise coming up. All of us here on radio right now are going to be going on this New Life trip. We do a trip every year to get to know folks, and that trip is going to be on the Rhine on a river cruise. Find out about it at newlife.com. Thank you, Milan Yerkovich. Thank you, Becky Brown, and thanks to all of you who listen, watch, support us. Thank you. Call us for help, 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Steve Arterburn here. Thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, you can go to YouTube, watch us anytime. If you don't know when we're in the studio live to make a call, you could go to newlife.com and the radio schedule's right there. Also, on social media, you see the schedule there, and we've got links that you could click on. If you got a question about anything, you could just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and a really nice, competent person would give you the direction that you need. But also, if you're on the go a lot, we've got the app, and it's easy to download, and there we are. So, hey, thanks for tuning in, and hope that you enjoy watching as well as listening to the program.